You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Okay, we found humility. Thank you, baseball gods. You could stop now. I know it's only their third two-game losing streak, and it's their first two-game losing streak, if you even want to call it a streak. Technically, if you go by Lou Brown, who I consider one of my favorite philosophers in baseball history, even though he's fictional, of course, of Major League fame. 3 in a row is in his case, winning streak. In this case, losing streak. It has happened before. That's where we're at right now with the Phillies, and I really hope they avoid that third straight loss tomorrow. But as for today, I can't take dumb baseball. And what we saw today was some pretty dumb baseball. Not your head in the game type baseball, not some baseball that we have gotten used to here with the Phillies, where it hasn't just been talent, it's been smarts, it's been good heads-up play. You got contributions. You got another run there from Edmundo Sosa, who got you a triple and then was able to take home on a wild pitch. Like, you got contribution. Johan Rojas had 2 hits for you tonight, including an RBI, and you lose that game. Alec Bohm can't help you from the plate. Nick Castellanos can't help you from the plate. I feel like every time we talk about Nick Castellanos, we talk about these little moments of like we're grasping at straws when it comes to waiting for Nick Castellanos to really break out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that for me is a tough pill to swallow. Another offer for Bryce Harper as well. That's a problem. You get a big hit from Kyle Schwarber, but the Phillies can't really do much after that, unfortunately. Just a very bad way to start a 3-game series against a San Francisco Giants team that has been hot as of late. I know their record doesn't look like anything that you would stick your chest out over. They just get back to 500 today. I think they're 1 game over 500 actually today after the victory for them. I think they improved to 28-27. They do on the season, while the Phillies dropped to 38-17. But just a really rough game to watch, and we'll get into it, especially when we get into our 3 big things. But first, I do have to say thank you for joining us here on Locked On Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, as well as we're giving you all the takes throughout the season on this Philadelphia Phillies team. And this particular episode is brought to you by the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. All right, let's start it off with 3 big things. Number 1, Alec Bohm, what the hell are you doing? Not to make 2 references in the opening segment to the movie Major League, but enough of that Olay stuff, Dorn. 2 separate occasions you had the Olay stuff there from Alec Bohm. Another 2, actually you could really say 3, because 2 of them were errors. One was actually, they awarded a double on the play, and they did not credit him or give an error to Alec Bohm, I should say. And then the other was a double or 3-time pump. I don't know. But if you're an infielder, especially in this particular case, maybe a shortstop, maybe a third baseman, where you try to get your bearings under you a little bit, Alec Bohm did a 2-pump, did a double pump, which resulted in an infield single, which later came around to score. A leadoff single, a leadoff infield single. Could have been avoided. Not Alec Bohm's day. Really not the Phillies' day in general. Now, we'll talk about this. Here we go. Number 1, Alec Bohm and the errors. The amendments to this are going to be Whit Merrifield dropping a pop. If Whit Merrifield can't even play in the field for you, if Whit Merrifield literally is just going to be an $8 million good pinch runner, then he shouldn't be on the big league ball club. He shouldn't be on the team. And that's pretty much all he's really done for you so far this season. He's been a good pinch runner. That is not a compliment. You understand what I'm saying? That is not at all a compliment. He has 1 bounce out of his mitt as well. Johan Rojas. Now look, Johan Rojas had an RBI single. Johan Rojas had another hit in the ballgame as well. Johan Rojas threw the wrong base in the first inning. Not good. Not good. You can't be making bad plays in the outfield when that is supposed to be, in particular, your area of expertise. And yet that's exactly what Johan Rojas did in the early goings of this game, throwing to the wrong base. Now, did it really come back and bite the Phillies in the behind? No, it did not. You got a double on the play that went into the corner. I think it was off the bat of Yastrzemski in the second inning, excuse me. Yeah, it was a 2-run double by Yastrzemski, so the run probably would have scored anyway. But still, you got to have a heads-up play if you're Johan Rojas and know that the runners are going to be tagging on that play, and your only play to try to limit the damage on that one play in particular is throwing to second base. So that way you at least keep the double play alive, which would mean you would get out of that inning if you were Taiwan Walker. Unfortunately, what Johan Rojas ended up doing was fielding the line drive, hit right at him in center field, and he threw to third base for some dumb reason, which allowed then the runner on first to advance to second, and then, excuse me, and then later come around to score. So for me, that is just dumb baseball. And it's like contagious. It feels like you watch one guy make a mistake. And here's what was really interesting about that Johan Rojas play in particular. Alec Bohm, who the ball was going to, it was cut off at shortstop, I believe, by Edmundo Sosa. Bohm is even signaling at Johan Rojas in center field like, dude, that ball has got to go to second base. You got to throw the ball to second base in that instance. And it even looked like Taiwan Walker was giving the old stink eye to Johan Rojas. Now, he made up for it a little bit at the plate. I'll say that. He made up for it a little bit at the plate. But in that particular instance, when I saw the pitcher, your third baseman, both pissed at Johan Rojas, I went, oh, damn, Johan Rojas might not be on the big league ball club in the very near future here. Then he might have redeemed himself a little bit at the plate. But the reason he is in this lineup to begin with is because of his defensive ability. And that was just an airhead play to make, an airhead throw to make. And he made it, unfortunately. Wrong play. Again, 2 hits, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But just in terms of being bad in the field, Alec Bohm could have been charged for 3 errors in this game. Whit Merrifield had an error. In total, the Phillies were charged for 3 errors. When it came to Alec Bohm in particular, it is a little bit worrisome. I would love to hear what he says after the game. I know we'll break it down tomorrow for you after that game, late game tomorrow night. But I would love to hear what he had to say if he just had bad vision, if it was just, I hate to use this phrase, especially a day after Rob Thompson just used it after you lost that series in Colorado against the Rockies. Just one of those days, one of those weekends, I guess. Well, I guess it was just one of those games for Alec Bohm where he couldn't see anything coming at him and his reaction skills were not as cat-like as they have been this season. And really, in all honesty, ever since the I bleeping hate this place play, ever since that game, the play, there's 3 of them. Ever since that game, he has been 1,000 times better third baseman for this Philadelphia Phillies team. But unfortunately, you see Alec Bohm, Ole one there in the 5th. Estrada ends up coming around to score. It makes it a 4-4 ball game. Estrada actually hit the ball, excuse me. Matos came around and scored on that play. But that was a ball hit at Alec Bohm that he literally just, actually ran around there. Ole'd it. Just like that. Couldn't do anything. Yeah, Ole. And then in the 7th inning, Alec Bohm, this is the worst of it all. For me, this is the worst at all. In the 5th inning, it led to a 4-4 ball game, and then later Bailey ended up scoring. He ended up coming up with an RBI sac fly to left field for the second run of that inning. It went from a 4-3 Phillies lead to a 4-4 tie to a 5-4 Giants lead, all in that 5th inning. Then, fast forward now to the 7th inning, Jose Ruiz is pitching for the Phillies at this point, and you have a leadoff infield single by Estrada, who again hits it to Alec Bohm. Bohm does the double pump in this situation. I don't know if he had trouble getting his hand on the ball. I don't know if he had trouble on the exchange. Whatever. He takes his sweet time making the throw. Estrada ends up beating out for the infield single. Very next batter, Chapman comes up. He gets, again, Alec Bohm to ole it, and now you have 2 runners on. You got nobody out. Good luck to you, Jose Ruiz. Bailey ends up striking out. Merrifield then drops the ball. That's when his error came up there. So you have bases loaded, 1 out in this situation. Yastrzemski flies out to left field, and then Ramos came up and he got the 2-run single. And that one was to center field. On the first pitch, just jumped on a curveball. And the next thing you know, it was an 8-4 ball game in favor of the San Francisco Giants. So I tell you all that to tell you this. My number one thing of my 3 big things, overall, Alec Bohm with 2 other amendments, a bonehead throw by Johan Rojas, and, of course, the ball bouncing out of Whit Merrifield's glove at second base. So where does that take me after this? Well, I'll tell you. Number 2, if Whit Merrifield's going to be in the lineup, he's got to hit. If Nick Castellanos is going to help this ball club win if he's going to be the answer at some point, like I feel like it's got to be his turn eventually. And one of the things I've really loved about this ball club all season long, it's been tag, you're in. You're the next guy up. You're the next guy that's got to get red hot. You're the guy that's got to perform. I'm waiting for that for Nick Castellanos. We had that, as I've mentioned many times, that 2-week stretch at the beginning of May where he actually looked pretty damn good. He looked like a guy that could be an all-star again, got the 3 home runs in the 2-week span, looked like that guy that could be the all-star, and now is just back to nothing. Just back to nothing. Another 0-for-4 performance at the plate today for Nick Castellanos, coming off an 0-for-4 performance at the plate from Nick Castellanos. He also had 2 strikeouts in this game. The average now dips below 200 at 198. And his on-base percentage is now down to 264. Not great for Nick Castellanos. Bryce Harper worked a walk in this game. He was 0-for-3 with a strikeout. His average dips down just a little bit to 274. The on-base percentage is still good for him, though. Merrifield goes 0-for-3. He reached on an error, I believe it was, earlier in the ballgame. Stott flies out in his his pinch hit appearance in this game. I like the idea of Rob Thompson giving him a little bit of a break there. But when you're looking at this lineup, you're seeing guys that are supposed to hit. Kyle Schwarber got you a big hit. Tattooed a baseball 404 feet to right center field. Almost put it in McCovey Cove. And then the Phillies just kind of took a break, other than Edmundo Sosa coming around to score on that wild pitch. Johan Rojas came over with a big hit, like I said, but really, you can't rely on Johan Rojas to be one of your team leaders in offense in a game. That's a bad sign. Now, what did we say before the season started? Well, if Johan Rojas makes the team and he's your 9-hole hitter, and if he's the problem, you got bigger problems. Well, you got bigger problems now, unfortunately. Bigger than Johan Rojas. Nick Castellanos is certainly one of them. Whit Merrifield is certainly one. This is a guy that came into this game. I wrote it down because I heard him say it on the broadcast today, especially against Blake Snell. I did it again. Against Blake Snell, he's got a .583 batting average against him in his career. What does he do today? Nothing. No, something else too. You chased Blake Snell after 4 innings of work. You got into that bullpen by the 5th inning, and you got nothing. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely abysmal, as a matter of fact. So the Phillies, that was rough. So the bats going silent again, with the exception of Kyle Schwarber, with the exception of Johan Rojas of all people, and Edmundo Sosa, who got you a triple. That was nice. Everybody else, ice cold. Number 3. I understand the defense wasn't great behind Taiwan Walker. There were some plays. There was one line drive hit up around the head of Alec Bohm that he snared out of the air, and that was great. That could have led to another run if it went into the corner, but it was snared by Alec Bohm. Taiwan Walker has been good for the most part. I feel as if his manager hasn't done him a lot of favors in Rob Thompson in leaving him in an inning early, especially a guy coming off the IL. I thought that was very hypocritical of what we've come to know as the philosophy of Rob Thompson. So I think that ERA is a little unjustified, unfortunately. But today, there was a lot of good wood out there. And Taiwan Walker wasn't really fooling anybody. Really ran into trouble there in that 2nd inning. He led off with that walk to Chapman. It ended up being, I think, a 25-pitch inning, if I'm not mistaken. But he led off with the walk to Chapman on 5 pitches, then gave up the single to Bailey to right field. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Soler comes up, hits that sac fly to Rojas in center field. He throws to the wrong base. You got 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Yastrzemski comes up with a 2-run double to right field, gets Ramos a strikeout, looking at a sinker away. Weird strike zone today. Another weird strike zone. Wisely comes up, he gets the infield single to center field, just out of the reach of Taiwan Walker. He was pissed 2 different occasions in that game where he should have been able to field balls hit back at him, and he just missed them. But it ended up being a 3-0 game by the close of that 2nd inning. The Phillies get him 2 runs on the Kyle Schwarber home run, 2-run home run to make it a 3-2 ball game. And then they come back and they get him again in the 5th inning, in large part thanks to Alec Bohm's poor play at 3rd base. Am I pissed at Taiwan Walker? No, but he definitely lost something in that 2nd inning. I don't know what it is with this Philly, with the Nola, Suarez, and now looking at Taiwan Walker. 3 starts in a row where the guys didn't have it early, struggled Their worst innings were 1 through 3, and we saw that again today for a third consecutive start. And then, other than that, you had some bad defense behind you. So I can't be too pissed at Taiwan Walker. That's why I put the bats in front of him as far as the blame game in the top 3. And if your number one is defense, then, your pitcher got a little bit of a raw deal in this one, to say the absolute least. So that's where I look at it. That's the way I break it down. I look at Alec Bohm. I look at the Phillies bats. And I look at Taiwan Walker in this game. Not great. Not great. Could you say pressing at the plate? Maybe a little bit, but we'll talk about Ian Snell, what the Phillies had going for themselves in this game coming up in a minute. Also, I'll check what you guys are saying about this. I love the chat was pumping, man. The chat was pumping from the start. Even before I started the show, you guys were on fire already. Before I go any further, though, I hope you guys are able to enjoy this extended holiday weekend. If you're a family member of someone who has paid the ultimate sacrifice for our great country, I thank them for their service, and I thank you for your sacrifice. And from the deepest depths of my heart, thank you. Most sincerely. We'll be back in a second here. You are Locked On Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We'll break down this Phillies' second consecutive loss. When we come back, you're Locked On Phillies Postcast. I got to tell you, out there in San Francisco is one of my favorite stadiums to go to. If you have not been out there for a ball game, a Giants game, whatever the case may be, I was lucky enough to go out there and go to a Dodgers-Giants game in San Francisco, one of the most beautiful ballparks in all of baseball. And if going to different ballparks is your thing and you need to get tickets, the Game Time app is where it's at. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. You see it on the screen right there, LOCKEDONMLB. And you'll get $20 off your first purchase on Locked On MLB on Game Time app. Just use promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you will take care of business and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Game Time is authorized as a ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. And how about this? Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to the first pitch. They got killer last-minute ticket deals. They got all-in pricing, so there's no surprise at the end. Those $30 tickets you're buying, they're $40 now. What? How'd that happen? You got ripped off. That's how it happened. But not on the Game Time app with that all-in pricing. They'll let you know what's what. And also, the guaranteed lowest price. I like to call it the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section, same row, for less money elsewhere, Game Time will credit your account on the Game Time app 110% of the difference. That's right. They got flash deals, they got zone deals, the all-in pricing, and the seat views. The seat views are fantastic because you get the panoramic view of the seat that you're buying before you purchase, so you know exactly what you're getting. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, before we go any further, let's see what you wonderful people are saying about this. IBH leading it off for us. Good evening, everyone. IBH, good evening. IBH as well. Looks like we're need to bring Turnbull back to the starting rotation. I'll say this. Spencer Turnbull, he does not like being in the bullpen. Does he have to get used to it? Unfortunately, as of right now, he's kind of going to get used to it. But it seems like every single time he comes in, you hear Tom McCarthy, you'll hear Ben Davis, in this case, Ruben Amaro Jr. They're all like, well, he's uncomfortable. He's very uncomfortable about coming to ball games out of the bullpen. It's very something he really doesn't know how to do. It sounds like a failed experiment already. And when you watch him out there, he doesn't look comfortable either. You would think he's a catcher being asked to play center field. Like that's what it feels like. He's like a long reliever being asked to actually be a catcher. That's more of what it would probably be like. That's how lost he would be. He would be more comfortable being the bat boy. This is pretty much where I'm going with this with Spencer Turnbull. So I do feel bad for him a little bit. Christopher Michael, what's going on? Walker is painfully awful to watch, and every at bat by Merrifield and Castellanos makes me sick. They're the downfall of this team. Garbage pitching and automatic outs by them two bums. All three bums? Oh, yeah. I mean, The one thing I will say with Taiwan Walker, again, I'm the last person to like make excuses for somebody, but if I'm really trying to understand what's going on, I do think Rob Thompson did him a huge disservice in coming off the IL and having him pitch into the 7th inning in his first 2 starts where he gave up home runs. As far as Castellanos and Merrifield, if I had like one of them, you ever see those old movies like people are on a farm and they ring the triangle to come get dinner? Like, come and get it! That's what it's like. If you're a pitcher and you see Whit Merrifield in the lineup there, if you see Nick Castellanos settling in, old Nicky 3 buttons, come and get it! Just you got him. You got easy out. Easy out. Infield in, everybody. That's what it feels like, unfortunately. John Marinelli, losing is losing, but I feel embarrassed for the Phillies today. Well, when you have stupid plays, just dumb baseball. John Marinelli, I couldn't agree with you more. I was talking to a buddy of mine during the game, and it was like if you're playing basketball as a kid and one of the guys on the team misses a layup in the first quarter, it's like the next 5 guys are going to miss a layup. It's just like, it's one of those things that's just contagious. You put it in their head, like, don't miss a layup, don't miss a layup. Ah, clank. I didn't play at a high level, but I'm just saying. That's what it feels like. It's like the errors today were like missed layups. They were just contagious is what it was. And that was so frustrating about watching this particular game. IBH, and we really can't afford to have 3 guys in the batting order hitting 200. I concur. You know what's really insane? Actually, because I was looking this up, because the last time Kyle Schwarber hit a home run was May 6th, and it was against this San Francisco Giants team. So he steps up to the plate there in that 3rd inning. He gets up in the count 3-0. He has a low pitch called a strike, which was not. He should have walked, but fortunately he didn't. So then he gets a 3-1 fastball right out over the middle of the plate, and he destroyed it. That baseball had a family, Kyle Schwarber. And I thought it was going to go into McCovey Cove, but unfortunately it did not. But still, it was a 2-run home run. Great to see that. That's his first home run after Johan Rojas got a 1-out single. It's a 3-2 ball game. First home run since May 6th. Since May 6th, his batting average and his on-base percentage have gone up at least 30 points. Like, that's insane. He's been doing it, obviously, with doubles, with singles. He hasn't been doing it with home runs. His on-base percentage, of course, he's been drawing walks. What was it? 11 walks during the homestand before they went out to Colorado, right? That's pretty good. That's pretty great, actually. If we're getting into June, you know what's about to happen. Schwarbombs in the month of June. So we're going to have ourselves some good times. Sir Sketchable. I love it already. I was going to make a rude comment, but didn't want to sully the sanctity. First off, excellent use. Sully the sanctity of the FarsCast. I like that. God bless everyone. Thank you, Sir Sketchable. Thank you. Appreciate it. Not counting the pinch hitters, the Phillies had 5 guys take the offer today. Well, yeah. And John, it's not just that. It's the big bats in the lineup as well, just as it was in the final game against the Rockies, where Schwarber took the offer again, Castellanos took the offer, Bohm took the offer. Schwarber worked 2 walks in that last game against the Colorado Rockies. But yeah, you can't have that. Again, Edmundo Sosa is outshining these guys from the plate. That can't happen. Mike D, what's going on, Mike D? They're bound to come back down to earth eventually. Hopefully it's not long term. See, and Mike, absolutely. This is one of the things with the Phillies that I hate to say waiting for, but we this isn't our first time watching baseball. This certainly isn't our first time watching the Phillies. We know that even the best team is going to hit a lull. And I'm not saying that 2 games is that lull, but they're going to hit a point where things just don't go right for them. Those balls that have bounced into the mid of Alec Bohm, guess what? Every once in a while, they're going to go under the mid. Every once in a while, he's going to look like a guy that we're a little unsure about as to whether or not he can be a really good defensive third baseman. I'm not saying this is the new status quo for Alec Bohm, where now he's all of a sudden turned back into who we knew he really was at the beginning of his career at third base. No, certainly not. But I am saying throughout the course of a 162-game season, you're going to have these games that look terrible. You're going to lose 2 games in a row. You're going to lose a series that you shouldn't lose. The thing that keeps on going on in my head, and I know I mentioned this after last night's loss or yesterday's loss to the Rockies, is the old Richie Ashburn and Harry Kalas back and forth back in the day, where Harry Kalas would say, number one team in baseball and runs scored, and they can't score runs in Colorado. And then you would hear Whitey go, hard to believe, Harry. Just like that. And it's like, that's the only way you could explain it. It's just that it's hard to believe. Or as Topper put it the other day, one of those series, one of those weekends. But it pretty much did suck. IBH sounds like they're lollygaggers. They are lollygaggers. Okay. I've already referenced enough movies. Don't get me going anymore. IBH, please, come on. It's my pleasure to be with you guys. They weren't going to play 7-10 baseball. Oh, well, look at the negative Nancy Rodney boast. No, I'm kidding. No, you're right. I'm not. See, here's the thing. I'm not flying off the handles here that there's some terrible baseball team already. You know, they'll be fine. I agree they'll be fine. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine, right? No, they're going to be fine. I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not gonna freak out over back-to-back losses. It's not gonna happen. Come on. Still love this team. It does piss me off when they make errors, though. That pisses me off. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are great. As far as breaking down some of this stuff with Ian Snell, geez, I did it again with Blake Snell, as I said I was going to do before the break. 4 innings pitched, 90 pitches. Did you see the numbers that they put up on him during the game? This was insane. First 75 pitches he throws. The first 75 pitches, the opponent's batting average is 306. That's bad. That's really bad. That means through pitch number 1 through pitch 75, you're throwing to Hall of Famers. You're the Hall of Fame maker. You're the king maker, baby. But this season, through his first 75 pitches, the opponent batting average 306. That's Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, okay? Blake Snell's a nice man. Then, if he throws more than 75 pitches, so 76 and over, 600 opposing batting average. And Johan Rojas and Edmundo Sosa, and yes, Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber was the only regular guy to be able to hit off Blake Snell. And then Johan Rojas gets a couple of Bengals off of him. Edmundo Sosa gets a triple. And everybody else like, I don't know. JT Realmuto. Great to see from JT Realmuto. Got his 16th consecutive hit, 16th straight game with a hit. Phillies now matches the Phillies all-time record by a catcher that's still insane to me. I thought it was when he did it at the 14. I thought that beat Levy's record, but Levy's record was only 20 years old. The Phillies record for a catcher for a full season is 16. And he matched it today with that double he had in the first inning. But other than that, everybody else had a lot of trouble with Blake Snell, who, for the record, sucks this season. Sosa got the double. Rojas got the RBI. Wild pitch. Phillies got granted a run on that, which was cool. Schwarber got the home run. 35-pitch fourth inning. 35-pitch fourth inning. And the Phillies in that fourth inning just made its 2 runs on a 35-pitch fourth inning. How about that? Phillies were done scoring after the fourth. 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Off Blake Snell, once again, according to the Elias Sports Bureau, sucks this year. Not good. All right. That's where the Phillies were tonight. We'll take a look at where the Phillies are going for tomorrow night's game as they play game 2 of this 3-game series in San Francisco. We'll break it all down and more when we come back. You're Locked On Phillies postcast. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thanks for joining the Locked On Sports Network. I'm Mark Farzetta. I'll be back in a second with more where the Phillies and Giants are headed after this. Supply House. You guys heard about Supply House? This is fantastic. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com. That's SupplyHouse.com. It's reliable, way more reliable when it comes to ordering plumbing, when it comes to ordering HVAC, when it comes to ordering electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get an expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades, you know what you can do? You can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. SupplyHouse.com. Join the thousands of trade pros and professionals already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM. And make sure you order your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere. And make sure you enjoy all they have to offer at SupplyHouse.com/TM. Just a few clicks away, SupplyHouse.com. So the Phillies and San Francisco Giants. Giants now one game over 500. Phillies 38-17 on the season. They'll be back at it tomorrow night. We got a late one. I'll be up. Will you be up? I hope you'll be up. 9:45 start time. Tomorrow night, San Francisco Giants. Zach Wheeler will be on the hill. Wheeler 6-3 on the season with a 2.53 ERA. He is coming off a great start. Back-to-back starts now, going at least 7 innings, allowing no more than 2 runs in those games. 7 1/3 against the Washington Nationals, and then 7 innings, allowing 2 runs on 5 hits. Did go up a home run, walked 2 against the Texas Rangers. They were supposed to announce the starter for the Giants. I don't think they announced it yet for tomorrow's game. But as of right now, ESPN has it as undecided, but we'll see who the Phillies have going out. One quick shout-out, though, I do want to give. Pat Burrell, man, the hitting coach for the San Francisco Giants. He's been the hitting coach now for a couple of years. Matt Breen of Inquirer.com did a phenomenal story on him last year, celebrating the 08 team. And if you wanted to pick up some more stuff about Pat Burrell's time in Philadelphia, it's a great piece on Pat Burrell then, Pat the Bat now, as the Giants hitting coach. But really, really interesting stuff. It's definitely worth the read. But I went back and looked at it. He played 162 career games against the New York Mets. He had 42 home runs against the New York Mets, more home runs than he hit against any other team in baseball. It came up the other night, as a matter of fact, just in terms of Phillies that had beaten up on the Mets. Chase Utley, of course, was one of them. But Pat Burrell, he got left off the list. I was like, how do you leave Pat Burrell off the list, especially when he hit that incredible home run off Billy Wagner at Shea Stadium to win a game? And Billy Wagner said after, I threw it at Burrell's bat. He's got that one swing, and I just threw it right at it. No, he owns you, boss. He owns you. Anyway, I want to end on that note, on a Philly that would actually hit the ball. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit subscribe. Make sure you guys hit like and all that stuff on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I will be with you guys for a late night tomorrow night. So I hope you guys stay with me. Maybe I'll wear my PJs. Maybe I'll wear my PJs during the show. I don't know. We'll have a lot of time to decide. We'll figure it out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. And again, for all who have served, thank you for your service. Much appreciated. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast. Appreciate you joining us. Catch you guys tomorrow night. See ya.